Well, here we are, smack dab in the middle of award season. Grammys coming up, Oscars after that. We've had the Golden Globes. Today, Canada's opportunity to show off its best in film and television. The Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television has just announced the nominees for the 2019 Canadian Screen Awards. And Deanna Sumanek-Johnson standing by to tell us everything that we have found out so far today. Good morning, Deanna.
Good morning, Heather. And because I know you'd be too humble to mention, but congratulations on your nomination as well.
Thank you, Deanna. But listen, I'm far from the headline because we got the most popular shows in the country that are being nominated. Tell us more about that.
We really do. So lots of love for you, for the host of the National. But over on the sort of scripted side, CBC's Schitt Creek and Anne with an E lead the roster of nominations with 15 nominations each, dominating in the comedy and drama categories. What an amazing year it has been. As I said, you know, we always know that Canadian television is great, but I feel like this is the year that Americans and just the rest of the world, because of course these shows are carried on Netflix so they can be seen around the world, have discovered how amazing Canadian television is. Schitt Creek in particular really attracted the lion's share of attention, got so many headlines in one newspaper after another, talking about the very Canadian breed of humor, gentle but incisive, and there's something about that that just really resonates with Americans, I think, in these politically divisive times. And you know, so 15 nominations, and with an E, also 15 nominations for this kind of very moody, dramatic, sort of prestige drama take on Lucy Maud Montgomery's beloved story. These guys have an all-female writing room, and that female point of view really shows with the insight they have in the mind of this young girl. And let's not forget Cardinal. Cardinal has 14 nominations, a very popular show running on CTV. Again, a sort of very modern and innovative take on a detective drama, some excellent acting happening there. But while we're talking about funny Canadians, and especially funny women, it's difficult to admit my following guest, Jennifer Whalen, is one of the co-creators and stars of Baroness von Sketch.
Hello.
Hi, and thank you for joining us. And you guys got 5 nominations today.
That's amazing. I was obviously here. I'm obviously here at the press conference, so I knew about 1, but 5, that's great.
5 is amazing, and tell me a little bit, we're talking about sort of the Canadian breed of humor, which we know is fabulous, but there's something about it that particularly resonates with sort of everyone around the world in these times. What do you think it is?
Oh, that's interesting. I think Canada is just having a real moment. I think we've come into our own, and we're creating things for ourselves, and I think that the world is embracing that, and I think that, yeah, it's in these troubled times, it's really great to have a laugh, and especially, you know, I think that Canadian humor is often very empathetic, which I think people like to, you know, Schitt's is certainly a great example of characters who grow and change and have empathy and warmth, and obviously with their success we can see how much the world is interested in that right now.
And tell me a little bit about this. I was chatting with you about this. I was chatting with Miranda de Poncier as well from Anne with an E. The importance of, this is a conversation that's being had in Hollywood all over, but the importance of women behind the scenes, women who are directors, writers. Obviously, this happens every week on Baroness von Sketch. Why is it so important, and what does it bring to the show?
Well, I think for us, you know, the show came about in part because there was just such a lack of seeing women on TV represented as they actually are, and I think there was a huge hole in the market there, and I think that it's really important because, you know, previously in writing rooms especially, there's usually only like 1 woman, maybe 2, and the rest are men. So it's a very narrow funnel to get through in terms of a career. And I think now the doors are opening, and it's really important that everybody get to tell their stories. You know, women, people of color, like every sort of person who doesn't feel that they see themselves on TV should, because that brings us together.
Yeah. More about really representation.
Representation, absolutely, and I think that it's the more representation, it humanizes us to each other, and I think that it's actually a really powerful force for good.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and congratulations on your nominations.
Thank you.
5 nominations for Baroness von Sketch. Really, Heather, a banner year for Canadian comedy all around, but really Canadian drama as well. And just a small plug for our viewers who watch your show and who watch what my unit, CBC Entertainment Unit, does.
I'm so glad you're doing this.
We have our own Eli Glasner, who actually maybe will join me for a second because he is right here, actually got a nomination for his work on The Filmmakers, together with our producer Nigel Hunt, who joined him there. How does it feel, Eli?
Oh my God.
We never get to ask each other these questions.
Yay.
Look, one of the best things I ever did was I helped make a little show behind the scenes called The Filmmakers, putting great Canadian films and creators in the spotlight, and we are nominated, and anything I can do to share the wealth of Canadian storytelling, I'm so pleased for Amanda, Johanna, and our hosts and everybody. So, how was that? That's just.
I think you're pretty good at this.
We're not on the air.
I think he's getting
No.
pretty good at this. I
Tell
think he's
him
quite comfortable being on this side.
Eli doesn't have an earpiece in, so he can't hear me ask him. You make sure that now that he's got the big nomination, he's still going to come in tomorrow morning for a review, right, Deanna?
Heather says she just wants me to relay this to you directly, that now that you're a big nominee, she just wants to make sure that you're still going to come in early tomorrow morning and talk to her about movie reviews.
I will, but you mean Canadian Screen Award nominee Heather Hiscox, right? Is that the person you're talking about? Okay.
Lots of love around here.
Lots of love inside the
our
CBC family. Listen,
Shameless.
Shameless self-promotion. Deanna,
Yes,
thank you. Thank you, Eli. See you tomorrow.